Have you ever noticed how much of our daily communication involves little rituals and patterns that are more like games than actual exchange of information? It's fascinating how humans create these intricate dances of words that serve social purposes rather than literal ones. Take greetings, for instance. When someone asks "How are you?" they're rarely looking for a detailed medical report. It's a social opener, a verbal handshake, and the expected response is usually "fine, thanks," regardless of how one actually feels. These language games are everywhere once you start looking for them. Consider the way people talk about the weather. It's rarely about meteorological information. Instead, it's a safe, neutral territory where strangers can establish common ground and demonstrate mutual goodwill. It's like a verbal warm-up exercise before more meaningful conversation can begin. What's particularly interesting is how these games have unwritten rules that everyone somehow learns. When someone says "we should get coffee sometime," both parties often understand it's not necessarily a literal invitation, but rather a friendly gesture of goodwill. The proper response is usually agreement, even if neither party intends to follow through. Even arguments follow certain game-like patterns. Notice how people often respond to "you always do this" with "well, you never do that." The exaggerated absolutes aren't meant to be factual, they're moves in an emotional game of expression and counter-expression. It's like verbal chess, with each player making strategic moves rather than literal statements. Professional settings have their own special set of language games. "Let's circle back to this" often means "let's not deal with this right now." "We'll take this under advisement" frequently translates to "no." These phrases aren't deceptive, they are mutually understood codes that help maintain professional relationships while navigating difficult situations. Then there are the fascinating games played in digital communication. The period at the end of a text message can transform its entire meaning. "Okay" versus "okay" conveys completely different emotional tones. These subtle variations have evolved into their own complex system of meaning, separate from traditional grammar rules. What makes these language games truly remarkable is how they vary across different social groups while maintaining similar underlying patterns. Whether in a boardroom or a chat room, humans instinctively create these structured ways of using language that go far beyond literal meaning. The next time someone responds "nothing" to the "what's wrong," remember, they're not lying, they're simply making a move in one of the many language games we play every day. Understanding these games isn't just about better communication, it's about appreciating the incredible complexity of human social interaction, where words are just pieces on a much larger board.